Good afternoon, peoples, and welcome to Coaching Conversations. I am Jamie Alilaw, your resident coach, and here on Coaching Conversations, we highlight, amplify, and listen to the voices of Black women on all life matters. And today I'm doing something a little bit different. As we are starting a new school year, many people, kids going back to school in this still kind of chaotic space of, some people are back in the classroom, some people are full on virtual learning, some people are doing a hybrid model, but still none of it is normal. Like even if you're in the classroom, that comes with its own concerns and things, right? So I thought that it would be a great opportunity to revisit the coaching conversation that I had back in May with a dear friend of mine and school counselor, Miss TaTanisha Copeland. And, I described TaTanisha as, and I on the original broadcast as a quiet storm because of her ability to listen with purpose and to just tune in and hone in and to create an energetic space of peace and warmth and safety, which I'm sure serves her very well in her chosen field, as well as the mother of two and as a wife and as a wonderful friend to those of us who are blessed to know her and to get to experience her. So I was like, this is a good time for us to revisit that conversation because she offered so many gems on how we as parents can show up in this time where we got a lot of time at home with these kids, with these people in our houses, and it's different, and it can be stressful for some, it can be tiring for some. For some people, this is environment we thrive in. But she dropped some gems. So what we're gonna do, I'm over here being fancy on my live stream. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna stream this coaching conversation. So let me get my stuff set up. And I just want to remind you that in this, it is still a conversation, right? So um, there were conversations and questions and considerations being engaged with during the stream when it aired live. And also, I'm here live today to continue the conversation. So I encourage and invite you to hit up the comment section. Um, if TaTanisha or I said something that resonates, or if a question comes up for you, or if you just want to testify, go ahead and drop it in the comments because this is still an active conversation. So here we go. And I also welcome your feedback. Like I said, this is something new that I'm doing. I'm going to share this replay. So let me know in the comments if there's anything that goes wonky for y'all. But come through and join the conversation. So, I mean, there's no feedback and we keep TaTanisha. So, but
wow.
TaTanisha, I would love for you to share with us about yourself, who you are, and how you show up in this world. What you do, and just anything. What should we know about you going into this conversation?
I love that, how I show up in this world. I'm going to keep that. Hello, everybody. Thank you, Jamie, for the opportunity. I am always excited when people step into their greatness even more, and you have. So continue these coaching conversations because they are amazing and they're needed. I'm TaTanisha Copeland. I am known a lot as Counselor Copeland. I am a professional school counselor by day, and I just call myself the world's counselor by night. An advocate for students, an advocate for children, an advocate for parents, an advocate for Happy Place. Lately, I felt like all of those things and none of those things at the same time, because we are going through something that is woof. So again, I appreciate you for even having the conversation. I had a conversation with someone yesterday and they were like, I'm loving all these lives. I'm loving all these Instagrams and all kinds of things. And I love them as well. Somebody says there is an
Somebody
echo.
said there's an echo.
Can I turn my Instagram off and still be on or no? Because I can.
Let me see. Nope, I got all my volumes down over here.
Is there still an echo if I take my headphones out?
Oh Lord, I'm feeling like Teddy and Babyface up here. Can't be stretching the flag. Oh goodness. Let's see how that's going.
Okay, I took my headphones out. I don't know if that's better.
Okay.
Somebody let me know if it is. If not, I might have to get off of some of my. I might have to get off of something or.
Bless our hearts.
I don't hear it on my end, so sorry.
I don't hear it either.
Somebody let us know, please.
Let us know again if it comes back up.
Okay, but like I'm saying, so through this, I've been very excited because there is room for all conversation. So I am loving the fact that everybody's having that conversation because this is the time to use your platform if you can. So kudos to you. And I'm trying to do that as well, just to give some sense of calm, some sense of peace, some sense of you're not by yourself. So that is me.
You might have answered it already, but I'd like to share my intention for today. My personal intention is actually to practice listening. I was telling TaTanisha before we went live, I was like, girl, I was nervous about today. And child, my mama was like, you ain't the expert, just listen, let TaTanisha do her thing. And I was like, girl, because I be tripping. One of the stories that I deal with is that it's all on me. And so one of my personal intentions for today is to practice listening and to bask in the wonderful gifts that you have to give us. And my collective intention is one of connection, much like you described. Like you said, we're not alone in this. So establishing connection, expansion, grace, love. And my hope is that we leave from this with filled cups. And is there any other intention you'd like to add, TaTanisha?
That's really it. When I speak to people, even in my everyday conversation, that is always my intention, that I leave you feeling better than you came. Because this, nobody has ever pandemic before. And parenting in the pandemic, wifing in the pandemic, girlfriending, boyfriending, daughtering in the pandemic is new for all of us. There is no manual, there's no blueprint. So I always am trying to offer in my own, I'm usually trying to offer it to myself and then I extend it to others. Because helping yourself a lot of times can help others. And you're right, you have to fill your bucket. As a parent, we're always pouring out. And if you're a parent right now and you are not pouring out, you are lying. You're pouring out every day because your own sanity is at stake. So, I just think about how I woke up to all this death this morning. Andre Harrell, Little Richard. I mean, the whole Ahmad story. And I know how that's affecting me. And I did not even know these people. So
Right.
I'm realizing how this trauma we're living through is affecting everyone, including your children. And people, I'm losing people that I know. That's trauma. So we have to
Yeah.
be here for each other.
Girl, listen, we need to go ahead and just let you loose because you are just bringing up all kinds of stuff that I'm like, so I just want to invite everybody who's watching to participate in the conversation.
Please.
So be in the comments with questions, with insights, with concerns, with feedback. I mean, go ahead and participate in the comments, and we're going to keep an eye on both. And actually, I'm looking. So we're using a new platform called StreamYard, and I'm loving it.
I love
And
it too.
so I'm gonna pull up, y'all, I'm out here with 3 devices. So I'm gonna pull up my Facebook Live.
And hopefully the echo is gone. I don't hear it.
It is? Okay.
I hope.
Okay, let me turn that down now that I've opened it up. Okay, so we can see comments on Facebook and Instagram.
Okay.
So, TaTanisha, I mean, you brought up when we talked about this today and set it up, we're talking about parenting in the pandemic. But you just, I mean, you said nobody has ever pandemicked before. So really all of our relationships and every hat that we wear has been affected during this time. So I'm curious, as a school counselor, what are some of the questions and the concerns that you are starting to be met with at this time?
A lot of parents are just asking how to calm their children. They're seeing them act out or the different behaviors. A lot of parents are seeing what we see at school every day. And it's like, ooh, yikes, yeah, he does that, boo. But, you have to realize if your student or your child had any kind of issue, any kind of emotional issue before this, it's times 1,000 right now. And the same for you, parent. If you had anxiety before, I'm very transparent about my anxiety and how it kind of floored me last summer. And so now I'm really in tune with it. But that was before the pandemic. So if you have any issues that you're going through, they're going to be heightened during this pandemic. So imagine a child. And I call child up to 18, 21.
Yeah.
You're still a child. I have a college freshman in the house. I have a high school freshman in the house. And so just imagine what they're going through, trying to process what we as parents are going through. They hear us watching the news. They hear or see on social media all of this grief, death, somebody else, all of these numbers. And so you have to make sure you're processing with them. That's what I'm letting parents know. It's not parenting as usual. And the biggest thing I have is you got to let go of the power struggle. Yeah. You got to let go of the power struggle. There's no more of the, okay, do it now, do what I say. You're going to have to be a little lenient. Parents don't like to hear that, but you are, because this is a different time. That we don't have the break in between where we mad in the morning, then we go to work, go to school, come back. Okay, we good. Now we mad in the morning, we mad all day, and we in here all day.
And I'm still seeing your face.
And I'm still seeing your face all day. And that's for relationships too. Now I get mad. I'm like, that's all right. I'm gonna go to the bathroom. On my way to the garage.
But you know what? So, something I'm hearing in that, though, is just kind of some general conversations that I've been hearing going on with people realizing that in all things, we have been called to truly see what is important to us.
Right.
And I've heard that conversation around, going to restaurants or going shopping at the mall or, getting your brows done. But I hear you extending that to our relationships. Is like, is it important to be in charge in this moment, or is it important?
3 words that will save your household: choose your battles.
Amen.
I'm gonna give you a great example. My daughter's super creative, very eclectic. I learned lots from her. And I wanted her to fold her clothes. She has a lot of clothes that they're clean, but they're all your clothes. So walk by your room, they're not folded. Now, on a regular day, I would continue to nag and remind her, or I really wouldn't have to. I think that was the trigger. I wouldn't have
Yeah.
to remind her. She would already, I would say it, she'd do it, but it's taken her a really long time. I have to stop because the power mama in me, I'm a Leo. Hello, my Leos. You guys know how we can
Okay,
do.
Leo. All right.
We come in. And, the other, clean this, get these clothes up. But I have to take a step because when I walk in my room, my clothes are piled up too.
Oopsies.
Because I am processing, I am going through all of this, and I am more an adult than she is. We have to stop expecting kids to be adults in times like this. It's convenient for them to suck it up and get over it, but it is not realistic.
It's a humanizing. It's a humanizing, because what I hear from you is I see their stuff and it's, I'm the mama, you the child, and you do what I say. Then I walk by and look at my stuff and I'm called back to be like, wow, so my stuff is on my bed because I'm feeling overwhelmed. I'm feeling tired because I don't feel like it. I don't have the capacity. And so it's like, okay, so if I have those feelings, am I able to extend the grace to acknowledge those feelings in my child?
And it will just it'll put in your mind, is this really a big battle right now? Like, we're literally stuck in the house. We had a family member that has died. We've lost a family friend through the virus. Are the clothes on the bed, is that something I'm about to go to battle about? It's not worth it. Instead, it's like, look at mommy's room. See, we got to get ourselves together, girl. Come on, let's do this. It's a reframing. It doesn't always work, because if I'm overwhelmed and I want it done, the parent's going to come out. But you try in this. Try to reframe it for the positive, because it also lets them see and share your anxiety with your children. Let them know that you're anxious and overwhelmed too. Don't go in your room and close the door and then cry. Sometimes it's good for them to see your raw emotion, so they'll know that they're not going crazy, or they're not by themselves. Or they won't feel like, okay, I got to suck this up because I hadn't seen mom or dad react. It's okay. And you won't lose your parenting, because that respect is already there. They're watching you. That bottom line, all the time.
I was going to say, I feel like that's a word for non-pandemic times.
Seriously, they are watching you and how you respond.
Yeah, and listen, Jillian Elaine on Instagram said, very true. And I think she was just talking about everything you said. Because I'm like, it's all very true. There's one thing you brought up. Well, there are a couple things you brought up that brought up different questions. So I'll go this way with it. You were saying how your freshman daughter, we love her, how she is a creative and how she teaches you many things. And one question that I thought of earlier is who taught you to mother?
Oh, wow. I love that question, because it's Mother's Day weekend.
Come on now.
My mother. Happy Mother's Day to you. My mother, and I'm blessed to have my mother and also a bonus mother. And watching my mother parent, watching my mother say, did you do your best? All right, let's go get some ice cream. Watching my mother just really be in tune to me, even when I didn't want her to be. I said that to my daughter recently. I'm sorry It's too much going on. I got to be in your face, whether you want me to be or not. And that's real. And my mother did that for me. And no, that it's not all, happy and all of that all the time. But I appreciated her caring enough to want to know what was going on with me. It made me feel good. And I said I wanted to make my children feel that way. I wanted to make them feel seen because I don't want them to go outside of the house looking for somebody to make them feel seen. I want to do that. So my mommy and my bonus mom. Happy Mother's Day, you too.
Yeah, I definitely have to shout out my mom. That's the foundation of my parenting for sure.
Right.
I have two sisters and I'm a middle child. She's in the comments. She just said, "Hey, TaTanisha."
Hey.
But I'm a middle child, and I was always aware. I think the thing that stuck with me the most about my mother and her parenting was I was always very aware that she parented us according to who we each were. So it wasn't just, this age, this happens, this is what you need to do. It was, okay, I'm dealing with Jamie right now, and Jamie is my quiet, mischievous child. So with Jamie, this is how I approach it. But with Marsha, it might be different. With Jade, it might be different. And so I got to see parenting human beings rather than mini me's or like little minions. Sometimes we treat kids as though they're simply extensions of ourselves. And
easy to do.
My mom, she was very clear on who we were. And I remember when I was being deployed and my daughter was 18 months old. And, it's just a hard situation, period. The only peace I had was I'm leaving her with my mom.
Wow.
So I know she's going to be parented as well, if not better, than if I was here. Because, my mama had the experience. I was just, and trial and error is another way.
Parenting handbook. None.
None at all. None at all. So let me see. I'm trying to remember because you brought something up. That's what it is. What are you finding are some of your strengths and vulnerabilities in parenting right now?
Wow. I'm trying not to take everything so seriously. Trying to make sure I have myself in check so that I can help others. I pour out a lot. I pour out to students that I serve at my school as well as outside of my school, because I mentor and counsel students outside of school as well, who have really been calling on me. Parents have been calling on me, but to make sure that I am also looking inward in my own family. Like I said, this is new for all of us, and not being so hard on myself. All over Instagram, you see, give yourself grace, give each other grace, that's just not a saying. It's very true. I am hard on myself. And I'm like, ooh, what do I need to do? I'm a fixer. What do I need to fix? What do I need to do? How can I, whatever? And I can't fix this. So sometimes when my husband or my children or my friends come to me, they don't need a solution. All they need is listen. They need an active listener. That's it. And so I've really learned that during this, because I am a fixer. While you're talking, I'm like, how can I help? How can I, let me see. Okay, I'm coming up with a plan. They didn't ask you for that. Right. And my husband will say that. My husband says that. He's like, I don't want you to fix it. And that's so hard for a fixer to hear.
Yeah.
He's like, I don't want you to fix it. I just want you to listen. Ooh.
Yes.
I'm like, oh, okay.
Wait, there's another option when somebody comes to you with a problem?
Why?
But
that's such a huge, it's such a huge lesson too for my children too. It's like, We don't need Counselor Copeland.
Mm-hmm.
I want you to know, when my daughter is venting to me about, virtual learning now, I'm like, you're right. It's hard. It's a lot because
Yeah.
I'm going through it too. But that gets a better reception than, okay, well, do I need to email somebody? Who do I need to
Yes.
talk to? No, you don't need to talk to
Yeah.
anybody. I just need you to listen to me. So that's a huge one for me.
Listen, okay, let's sit and talk about that for a minute. let's preach on it because I mentioned to you earlier about that was a source of nerves for me going into this. Until
Yes.
my mom was like, "Girl, you ain't the expert. Just listen. That's all you got to do is listen." But I feel like sometimes many of us moms,
Yes,
right? Because
ma'am.
we have been everything for our children, right? And the nurturing plus the personality, if there's strength and
Yes.
power in there, oh Lord, okay, well that's gonna come up.
Yep.
And we talked about this notion of a full cup.
Mm-hmm.
And in my personal practice, because it's a practice,
Yes.
when it's a habit to try to fix things, it's a practice to just let go.
Yes, it
Um,
is.
and what I'm finding in that practice is, your cup wouldn't empty so fast, if you're not trying to steer into everybody's lane. Because really,
Oh,
that's what it comes to.
but that's really it, because there's enough lanes for everybody, and everybody doesn't always need. If you stay in yours and hone it, you're good. There's
Right.
room for everybody. And that it's such a great life lesson. You can be a better friend, a better spouse, a better parent if sometimes you just listen and just be an
Listen.
active listener. And
Mhm.
sometimes, okay, and sometimes just be an active listener. And it's really hard because sometimes you are resenting all this drama that you started. Because nobody asked you to come to the party. You're just here trying to fix it. And then you're like, oh, and she make me sick. And well, why did you answer? So, yeah.
Girl, I had drama
Uh-oh.
not too long ago, and I went to one of my coaching buddy friends, and he's like, okay, do you want coach? You want friend? You want big brother? I said, give me all of them.
Right.
And he said, why do you like, why did you start this drama? Like, and I'm like, wait a minute. Certainly I didn't start this. Certainly I wouldn't choose this. And he reflected back to me what I said, and I was like, oh,
You don't even know
oh,
it.
right.
You don't
Because we
even
just
know it.
think, like you said, oh, somebody brings something. The next
Mm-hmm.
step, of course, is to fix it.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, oh, wait, listening, just being with is an option.
Because then you resent yourself, you resent other people. I'm so exhausted. I'm mentally tired. But nobody asked you to do all that. Superwoman, put your cape down, baby.
Come on
Nobody
now.
asked you to do all that. And it's so hard to hear when you're a fixer. It's so hard to hear that. But it's like an epiphany. Like my
Yes.
mom used to be like, girl, sit down. I didn't call you. And that's what I have to do. And that's so hard to do. But when I tell you, your cup will remain full when you
Oh,
are just really intentional about how you pour from it and know that you're still helping. When
yes.
you're intentional about the energy that you surround yourself, the energy, everybody's not privy to your energy. They're just not. And that's
I'm
a
getting so
hard
excited.
thing. But that's a hard thing for people to hear, especially people like me, because I want to help. But everybody's not privileged. They
Mhm.
just aren't. No cockiness there, but that's reality. You have to guard your energy in every way. And the universe will bring what you're supposed to have. The universe will bring the energy that you're supposed to give. It's so freeing when you really get that. You won't feel bad.
Oh,
You
yes.
know that you're working in your right space. It's a process.
That's it. Because so many times women, because I focus my work on very strong and empowered women.
Right.
And one of the things that I get so often is I feel guilty if I say no.
Exactly.
I feel guilty if I don't do it. I feel guilty if I, again, don't extend myself. But then if you go trace back to the starting point,
yep.
Who asked you?
Exactly. Sit down.
Oh Lord, help us, Lord. Look at
and it's okay. And another great comparison is like we're all in the house. It's okay if everybody's in their own space doing what they do. We're all calm. We're all together. But maybe we all needed space. Your children need space too. And that's not about, oh, why you trying to be, well, why? No, you're not going to go up there. No, choose your battles. Just like you need a minute, sometimes your children do too. Give it to them. Now, I'm going to peek in. No, I'm looking at you. Hey, you good? We don't close doors, so I'm passing by. But it's okay. Let them have that space because you need it too. It's a different type of parenting. It's a different type of relationships we're going through now. This is survival. And it's a forced workspace. You know, I hear people say, well, we're working from home, we're homeschooling. No, you're not. You are working through a trauma at home. You're at school because you cannot be there. We're going through something. You can't be there. It's not homeschooling. That's different. So we have to treat it different. Our babies would have an outlet. They don't now. We would have an outlet. We don't. So we're surviving amid all that. And that has to take consideration. It's 4:00 the other morning. I could not sleep. My sleeping pattern is trash right now. It is done.
Yeah.
So I'm up at 4:34. I meet my kids in the hall. I'm like, what y'all doing? We can't sleep either. Maybe the old me would say, y'all better get in the bed. I can't believe y'all up at 4 a.m. Yeah. What y'all want to play Big Brain Academy? Let's go. Okay. Well, it's different.
That was one of the things I loved seeing as people have been sharing. Thank goodness for social media during this time. When we talk about connection. But I've so appreciated when people were sharing about their sleep. Because it's like, oh, it's not. Because I used to, be in bed 9:30, 10, and I would get a good night's rest, be up at 6, 5:30, easy peasy, let's go. Now, if I hop my little happy self in the bed at 9:30, I'm up at midnight.
Ma'am.
And then up again at 4, and I'm going to give me a good hearty nap at 3 p.m. It's just, and yeah, I just like, okay, well, this is what we're going to do. This is what we're going to do.
Because it's okay. I mean, everybody's up, and I mean up like at 4 a.m. like it's 8:00 in the morning. Not even a groggy up. I'm up, and they're up too. Like, yeah, we just going to get a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. Hey, make me one. Choose your battles.
Let me see what's going on over here on Instagram. We got hand waves. The counseling teacher Brandy says, "Hey, genres of art was like word." Jillian said, "You dropping gems." My girl Dion, who was on the first coaching conversations. Oh gosh,
no, she was awesome. I watched her.
She really, I love Miss Wardrobe and Lifestylist. Come on,
she's amazing.
And she says, sometimes you need a moment. That's what it is. Let me see what's going on over here on Facebook.
That is the truth.
Oh, listen, see, my mom was over here on Facebook. I'm just going to give a shout out for next week. It's going to be a family affair.
Oh,
Marsha and I worked and worked and worked and
y'all
worked.
Got her.
And got him. Mama is going to be on next week, y'all. Oh. So that's going to be that's a treat. I'm just telling y'all that's a treat because she don't even like us posting pictures of her on Facebook. So she don't be live. But she over here, she says, oh gosh. Oh no, I miss. Listen, y'all, I'm going back onto Facebook because operating, y'all bear with me. Kate Wiley said, "Thank you, ladies, so much for this. I'm essential and still working, but also trying to help our little man to feel safe and secure and
Oh,
deal with arising issues in the home. This help with perspective. I love that. I love that. Yeah, definitely
because it's
support needed.
real. The
Yes.
demographic that I work with my school, most of those parents have to still work. Everybody doesn't have the leisure of, okay, well, I'm home with my family and we're processing. Mm-mm. I got to drop you at grandma, I got to drop you at auntie, or maybe you got to come with me. Or
Yeah.
maybe I have to leave you at home. It's real. We did a webinar the other day and I love what the presenter said. She said, you're assuming that people want you to see in their homes with this virtual learning. That's another part of
Yeah.
anxiety. I might be a teacher and I don't want you to see where I live, not because I'm trying to be high post, but I'm living pillar to post. I don't want you to see it. Some
Yeah.
parents are like that, and it's survival. So yeah, I had often essential workers. My mom is one. She works at a senior facility. And that's trauma in itself because we
Yeah.
can't see her.
Yeah.
It's Mother's Day weekend. I can't see
Yeah.
my mom in living color. So that's some more anxiety that people are going to be going through. You have to look at all those types of things. And I
Yes,
love that
ma'am.
she said that, helping her little one, because that they need it, because they're watching, probably afraid for her too, going out.
Yeah. Hearing the stories and everything. That's very true. That is very true. Um, let's see. Oh, come on, Venus came through. She says, Soror TaTanisha, I
I
swear you
love
are
that.
always a voice of reason. The timing of your response. Thank you. Hey, Venus.
Hey, Venus.
We love
She
you,
knows
girl.
she's amazing. She knows she has my heart.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Mama came through and said, girl, you made me tear up. I can't fix this. I can't fix this. Yeah. Um,
That's hard.
oh,
Ooh.
listen, speaking of bonus mother, we have Louise Copeland in the comments, and she says, I'm enjoying this. I'm enjoying this.
Love
So
you,
that's good
Weezy.
to see. My boy Dion, who I was deployed with, he came and he said facts. You know, he is an outstanding father. So I'm glad to
Awesome.
hear that this is resonating with him.
Yeah, shout out to
Um,
the dads.
so again, Valerie, my mama says, you know, I like that. Stay in yours and hone it. Stay in your lane and hone it. That's our work. That's
I
our
mean,
work. We don't
but
want
it
to take
really
these
is.
extra projects, right? Trying to do everybody else's stuff. Your work is, ma'am, what are you called to do? You have enough energy to do it.
Yes, and stop comparing yourself to others. I
Yes.
love social media so much, but it's such a facade at sometimes, and it gives you the false reality for other people. A lot of people post when they're feeling good or things are
Yeah.
good. You know, lately I've seen transparent moments and things like that. Even in your profession, there's nobody like you. Stop comparing yourself,
No need.
because then you get out of yourself, and then your work is no longer valid. So, and that's hard to do, especially in parenting when you're on these different pages and they're like, "Oh, today we made, pie, and we would stop." That doesn't happen every day. It's not reality. Your reality is how you make it. It's wonderful what you're doing, because if you woke up, you good.
Well,
If you did
hello,
your
women.
breathing that day, you good. Give yourself grace from that. Don't compare yourself. If you know you're in a profession or in a career and it's your thing, I mean, it fills you up. Counseling fills me up. I'm happy with it. It just does something to me. It's a passion for you. I'm not going to step over here and try to be a scientist,
Well,
because that I see I'm in my lane. I'm going to stay, I'm going to research. I'm going to try to get better in that lane. There's enough room for everybody.
I just had to write down this quote. That then you get out of yourself and your work is no longer valid.
Because you're not working from your heart. And that's so easy to do, especially in fields like ours, the education field. You see a teacher and she's at home, but she has all of her things and she's whatever. And you barely can get one person in your class.
Yes.
It's okay. It's okay. Just like you, and you're doing your coaching conversations. If you have one listener, it's
Yeah.
fine. But somebody is listening.
Yep.
That's it.
Yep. Thank you for that one, because we're building over here.
Girl, we are all building.
Listen, Mama said, I've learned to wait and listen. Lord, what part do you want me to play in this? And that brings in that element of faith, which I see as release and trust. That's what equips me to release. Because it's like, listen, okay, you want me to not control this. Somebody got to have it. Somebody got to be in charge.
But that's it. I mean, and release is hard because it's so easy to say that, oh, I'm going to let go and let God. I'm going to let go and let the universe. I'm going to let go and just let it happen. And then we wake up like, well, I'm still worried a little bit, but.
Yeah. Let me go pick that up real quick. Let me go check in.
Let me just see what's happening. Letting go means letting go, and that's hard to do. Wow, that's hard to do. But once you do it, you'll see things unfold how they're supposed to. Not how you want them to, how they're supposed to. I know, right? And that's what I can't get past. I'm working.
But you know, Lord, I've thought about it and I've worked it out really well. Right. And if you would just, in this timing and in this way, it would go so well. I've thought through it. You should really take my suggestion on this.
And the universe laughs.
Because it's like, girl, you know this much information.
Right. God is like, oh, look at her. She's so sweet. Precious. She thinks she got a plan.
Precious. Because it's like, I bet you didn't see 2020 coming with your plans.
Shutting down the world.
Shut it all down. Shut it all down. We got, you know, Mom also added, I learned a long time ago, I ain't nobody's savior, not even my own.
And I'm going to tell you, you have to remind yourself of that. You really do. That Superwoman cape is real, and you put it on, and you're like, "Oh, I'm here. I'm about to do." No,
nope.
Take it off.
Because you get sat down. If you won't figure it out, you will get sat down.
I'm gonna tell you, that is real, and it is a lifesaver because there is nothing like mental exhaustion. Physical exhaustion but mental exhaustion.
Will you talk about that a little bit? Because I think sometimes, especially in our culture of work and hustle, I think sometimes we are unaware of, and because you've mentioned the term trauma, anxiety, and I feel like sometimes we are unaware when and how these things are showing up. So can you talk a little bit about that mental exhaustion and what it can look like?
Definitely. And it can manifest in so many ways. Most of the time it's irritability or things just on my nerves, or I'm quick, or I'm whatever. It's not always crying and I'm down and out. It's that too, but it can manifest in all kinds of ways. Impulsivity. I'm just going to do this without thinking. I'm frustrated easily. You know, I'm yelling and don't realize I'm yelling. You're talking to somebody and they're looking at you like, ooh, you good?
Yeah.
And you don't even realize it because your cup is so empty. Overworking, always overworking, tired. And I mean the real tired. I would say I had never been so tired as I was when I was pregnant. That was a tired, like my husband would be talking to me and I would literally be sleeping. But it's a real tired, like you just can't get it together. Empathy is something that we all want to have, but empathy exhaustion. You hear things and you no longer care about them. You hear somebody going through and you like, I don't care.
Okay.
That's real.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah, and it's aware of. I mean, when things you used to care about, you don't really care about them anymore. People that, you would perk up to hear from or whatever, I don't have time for that today. You're exhausted. You poured it all. Someone you're really close to, husband, sister, mother, spouse, and you just don't even want to. It manifests in so many ways, different ways in different people.
Yeah.
So you have to be on the lookout for it. You have to really be in tune to yourself, to
self-awareness,
to know when it's time to unplug. And that doesn't mean everything for everybody. People automatically think when you say unplug, you're cutting off all technology and you're whatever. No, because some people, that is their unplugging. I might get off of Facebook, but I might get on the internet and research all these things I want to know. However you unplug, you need to sometimes, whatever that means for you, it's necessary.
A lot of self-awareness, because you got to know when something's off, and also know what your thing is.
And sit in the moment, right? And sit in the moment of your feelings. A lot of times our goal is to be happy. And so when you're not happy, you think you're missing something. Sit in that feeling. If I'm sad, okay, I'm sad. I'm going to be sad. I'm going to cry today. I'm going to put on my sad record and I'm going to cry because I'm processing. When you don't do that and you're just always looking for the happy goal, you're missing all of those feels that are going to help you be better for everybody else around you.
Girl, I avoided sad and I tried to avoid anger for so long. And it wasn't until last year that I even learned about that concept of leaning into the bad emotions, because what I realized is that there's no good or bad emotion. It's emotion.
It's emotion.
And they're all here to tell you something.
Right.
And you can't have the ready access to the desired emotions if you are not able to experience the full spectrum of emotions. I can't be my happiest happy if I refuse to dip over here into the sad.
My students taught me that. I had a student, a 10-year-old boy, tantrums out of this world. And everybody would say, you got to stop that. You got to, get a better attitude. You got to stop. He got to feel this right now. Yeah. We got to sit in this and see what it is so it can better him. And once we sat in that, you yelling, you hollering, you whatever. Okay. Now what was that?
Yeah.
And once he started identifying what it was, the tantrums got a little bit less, because then you can feel your triggers. Okay, this is what happens. This is what makes me angry. This is what I feel. Okay. Not saying that the tantrums totally stopped, but the edge was off, because it's like, okay, I get it. And you're allowing me to be angry. See, you have to be surrounded by people or even by yourself. You have to allow yourself or be surrounded by people that can allow you to sit in those feelings. You can't be around somebody say, girl, you'll be all right. Get it together. You okay. Be happy. You the counselor. I hear that all the time. Not the counselor sad. Why can't the counselor be sad? Oh, I'm not human. Oh, I forgot. You have to sit in it.
And I feel like this generation of kids is like, no, I'm not having the suppression no more.
That's it.
I'm not having that no more. I'm gonna get this out, or it's gonna be you and me.
You let your child process now, or they will process later outside of your house, and you don't want that to happen.
No.
You're gonna have to allow that. Everybody's not going to be happy. The goal is happy. I need to feel happy. Happiness does not always have to look the same. Happiness is peace.
Come on, listen. We have our friend Tamika says, yes, I had a person tell me that my number one problem is that I expect people to be me. Oops.
Oh, girl.
What?
Let me tell y'all, and y'all will hear me talk about my husband a lot because me and him are buddies.
Yes.
We literally just had this conversation. You are let down when you expect people to do what you would do. They're not you. So when they don't check on you or when they don't call, you'll see the post, glad people checked on me when I stop giving them all that credit. Some people are doing exactly what they do. They are who they are. And you expect them to react like you. Not going to happen. Hard lesson. Great point. We just had that conversation. Great point.
I love it. She said, once I processed the shock, I was like, maybe. And now it's a fight for balance. This
Yep.
is very hard, but doable. I mean, the thing is we have our practices, right? The things
Exactly.
that we know to do. And so if I know to think or behave or be in a certain way, and now I'm looking to transition, that is all a practice. And it feels like a challenge.
And look at the world. Look how we've all been balanced. Everybody shut down. That face
Yeah, my girl person said, I'm about to throw my shoe. Listen, and she quoted you. She says, you are not working from home or homeschooling. You are working through a trauma at home. Exactly. Carlos came through and said, that's my boo, y'all.
my sweetie. Look, we are that's my buddy.
Said, that's all our boo. Okay, so she's playing. Let me see. If we another quote, don't miss out on the feels. I mean,
that's it.
Venus just came through and she said, Ronnie and I were just talking about this. I just texted him what you said. You are let down when you expect people to do what you want, to do what you do.
Exactly. See, let them off the hook. Let them off the hook.
Real-time transformation.
Let them off the hook, because we had that conversation, and it's such a letdown because you're doing, and it's not that you're doing things for the feedback, but it's like when you don't get it, it's like, well, I just did this with you and you, but that's not the way everybody works. Most people don't mean any harm by it. They just living. It's you caught up because you put this high expectation on them that they can't fulfill. Whose fault is that?
Well, you said something that triggers something for me, because it's like what it requires is for us to check our intention.
Definitely.
Because it's like, okay, so did I do that in order to get the tat?
Right.
Was that a tit for tat? Is that something? And, again, when we're talking about our cups, that's one way to gauge where we're giving from. Right? Because it's like, am I giving from this place? She talked about counseling. Like, this is who you are. This is what you do. That's your lane. And it is not dependent upon the feedback you get in order for you to exercise it.
And but you're right. Because what if I scroll past your birthday on Facebook and I don't like it, does that mean I don't wish that you have a good birthday? I mean, it gets that simplistic. Some people it's really important for, but you do have to check your intent. Did I post this, or did I send this out? Did I do a check-in text because I want you to check in with me too? Or did you just cross my mind and I'm like, I'm a check-in. Doesn't matter if you answer. It's okay.
Yeah.
So that's real too, intent.
But the thing with that is if you allow yourself to be honest with yourself and say, I did send that check-in text because I want you to check in with me. Exactly. You're empowered from that point to be like, I can just be direct in communicating my desire rather than manipulative in trying to get you to do what I want you to do by doing this thing that I think you should do.
So be honest. Be honest with yourself and have those relationships. Because if you are in relationships, I don't care, best friend, spouse, whoever, and you have to play those games, check that relationship. That might be time to weed out. Because you should be in a relationship where I'm checking on you, I don't want anything in return, or I'm checking on you, girl, check on me.
Right? Just say it. Say it. Because I'm one of those people that I'll be in my world. I'll be in my world over here. And I've gotten to a place where somebody will drop on my mind and I'll be like, you know what, let me listen and send a message or call. But other than that, I'll be in my lane. So if somebody reaches out to me, I'm like, girl, I'm so glad you did. It's wonderful to hear from you. It doesn't mean I didn't want to talk to you. It means I'll be on some other stuff. But I have a great friend that we've gotten into this place where we're practicing with each other, being in touch. And so we will openly communicate like, girl, will you call me in about 10 minutes? I need you to call me, you
See,
know?
I
And
mean,
then
we're
if
in
you're
a
not
pandemic,
available, just say no.
right? I mean, we're in a pandemic. It's no time for the cat and mouse games. Oh, well, she didn't really text me, so I'm not really confused. Girl,
Nobody got
life is
time to be
good.
playing with you, trying to figure out what you need and what you want. Do you know I'm over here in trauma too?
Right.
We all in Rona time,
We
sis.
are all there. So, I mean, we have to be in this together. But again, I call that the natural weed out.
Yeah.
Because if you know, and that's hard to digest sometimes, but sometimes that's the season and it's up.
Yeah.
So, okay.
It's true. We got Dane Mims over here that said, great conversation. Experience is a great teacher.
Hey, Deneen. Hey, Deneen.
Listen, we're getting close to time. The thing I love about this, like I said, I just know some amazing people who are showing up in the world in such a way that we just love. So we got 26 seconds on Instagram. So do me a favor, TaTanisha, tell people how they can reach you.
I am on Twitter and Instagram as Counselor Lady 08. I'm on Facebook as TaTanisha Copeland, and I also have a Mindfulness Maya channel inspired by my daughter, and it's called Mindfulness Maya on YouTube.
Mindfulness Maya, we ready. Instagram is gone. We still on the Facebooks. But so TaTanisha, I would just love to tie this up because we've talked about some wonderful things around parenting, around self-care, around relationships, you know. So I would just love it if you could just, if there is something that you could leave with us today to take with ourselves as we are in Rona times.
Just a recap of what we said. Number one, choose your battles, parents, spouses, daughters, all roles. Choose your battles. Realize that you are living through something you've never lived through before, and have grace with yourself. Don't be so hard on yourself. If you wake up and you can do an inhale, exhale, you are successful for that day. Everything else is just a bonus. So don't be so hard on yourself. Second, make sure that you are checking in with yourself, whether you are in a 2-bedroom with 5 people or whether it is 5 of you in a 10-bedroom. Make sure you steal away and check in with yourself. Be intentional about that, because you have to make sure you're good before you can be good for anybody else.
That is a lovely word. Thank you so much, Ms.
Thank you. Continue this. You're amazing. Continue this. I love your coaching conversations. And what I have to say about Jamie and her family is they are so supportive, beautiful people, and you don't find that a lot. But they are so supportive, such lovely, lovely, lovely people, and it exudes through them. So you guys continue to be blessed over there, Jamie.
Thank you so much. I love the stock that I come from, and that
Amazing
reminds that's that segue into next week, y'all. I'm telling you.
I can't wait to see Mama on here. That's going to be so amazing. I can't wait.
And our topic is developing wisdom.
Ooh,
girl, it's going to be juicy over here.
Oh, that's going to be amazing.
So just be ready. Speaking of ready, like I said, I am ready.
I got to get myself together for my tea, my incense, my everything tonight.
Marsha got the sage ready.
I've already done that.
Listen, we are prepared for Miss Erica and Miss Jill.
I love these concerts. They're amazing, and they could be a date night, they can be a self-care, they can be all that. So I am loving this free music, loving it.
I mean, this is a major gift.
Yes.
A major gift.
Yes.
And I'm loving all the innovation coming out of this time.
Me too. Me too. And kudos to those people who can find that creative, that are really taking really taking the ball. I mean, they're just so creative and business plans, and I see all of this, and that's okay too, to be empowered by this. It's okay.
Yes.
Don't be ashamed that you're empowered by this. It's awesome. And don't be ashamed that you're not. I'm in
Yes.
between.
That's a word though, because I'm one of those people who my entire life has changed for
Yes.
sure. All of my contracts have been canceled until
Yeah.
2021. And I have been graced with inspiration. This has been work.
Yeah.
And also, but yeah, there's some creating that's happening, and this is definitely one of those spaces that I'm grateful to have and to be following. And like I said, I've got this abundance of beauty that I'm surrounded by. So thank you for bringing some of that today to the people.
Thank you for having me, beautiful.
Love y'all. Tell the fam we said hello. And we
Definitely.
need to get another game night.
Yes, definitely that. Love the virtual game night.
All right. Love you. Love y'all. Facebook land.
Thanks, everybody.
Till next week. Bye. Man, that was it was really dope to watch that back and notice the responses and the interactions that I was having in real time, that were similar to what I was having when we were having that conversation, because that stuff it's still so relevant. Pick your battles, have grace with yourself and with your children, and really just acknowledge and honor that your children are people, right? Who are also experiencing the trauma and its effects, that this pandemic is bringing. So our lives as adults have been disrupted. Our children's lives have been disrupted. So the same way that I, as a mom, might not feel like folding my clothes in this moment, my daughter might not feel like folding the clothes in that moment as well. And in this time, it's an opportunity for us to really practice acknowledging the full humanity of our children, as well as ourselves, and just having grace. That conversation, whoo-wee, that reminder about staying in your lane as an access point to having a fuller cup. Because if you ain't over here not minding your business but being in everybody else's business, and then wondering why you don't have it left in you, it's like that's a place to look, right? It's like, am I doing too much? Am I doing stuff that has nothing to do with me? Am I engaged with conversations that don't have anything to do with me? Am I, out of my lane, right? So just listening to this and then just being reminded about the Erykah Badu and Jill Scott live, because that was still one of the best experiences that we had. So I'm glad I did this. I was like, what are we gonna do? And I got this vision because again, we're still in this pandemic and we're still doing life. And so now we're starting up a new semester. So, I just hope that everybody is able to create the communities and the support systems that we need to continue to deal with this extended chaos and trauma, because that's what it is, y'all. We are still unsteady, ungrounded. We're still trying to figure it out and find a way. So there is still a need for us to have grace with ourselves and with each other. And so I encourage that. I encourage y'all to follow TaTanisha's YouTube page, Mindfulness Maya, especially for kids. It provides an opportunity just for them to really get ideas on how to process on an age appropriate level, right? So we're talking about how kids are experiencing this just as we are. So this really puts it in the language for them that's accessible for them. So I really encourage y'all to check out some of these animated videos that TaTanisha has done in partnership with her son and daughter to create these animated videos to really talk with kids and help them process. So check out there. You can follow TaTanisha on Twitter and Instagram at Counselor Copeland 08. I think I got that right. I see you, TaTanisha. Let me make sure I got it all together. But y'all, I love you. Like I said, I'm really glad I did this and be looking for some more recaps because it's still very relevant. Also, I want to open it up. Y'all hit me up in the chat and let me know some of the conversations that you want to engage in. So go ahead and drop some of your thoughts and ideas in the chat as well. So y'all, somebody reminded me that this is a holiday weekend. I was like, oh Lord. So now that I have that knowledge, it doesn't mean anything different for me because I'm still very much operating in pandemic shelter in place type mode. But I do wish everyone some additional rest from your labors this Labor Day weekend, and I'm ready for I'm a fall person myself. So oh, I see it. Love in the pandemic. Okay, okay. No, but listen, I'm definitely gonna have to bring somebody in for that because I'm looking. But I love that idea, TaTanisha. Love in a pandemic. Okay, all right, we gonna have that conversation. All right, everybody. I love you. Have a wonderful and restful weekend. Until next time.